Boom. Fantastic. Another impromptu Javier Mendez podcast. Thank you, everybody, for all your wonderful questions and helping us grow. A couple of shout outs I'll give towards the end for people that have been helping me on the channel. Not too proud to learn something new. But Javier has brought Tony back because we needed some, a little less serious, a little bit of the Vegas insight with Tony. How you doing, Tony and Jav?
That's all good.
Yeah.
What do you mean, little less serious? You're talking to Tony here. We're not talking comic relief here. We're talking serious dude.
Yeah, he's a serious dude. You and I are like very.
What do you mean?
Comic relief.
Well, he's not comic relief. He's a serious dude. It's like, man, okay.
Am I as serious as Bill Cosby in jail doing his Fat Albert impression?
Hey, I'm in prison today.
That's right, Fat Albert. You really get your ass pumped. Well, Bill Cosby, baby. We in the jail,
So it is definitely serious. The question is, Tony, you're from Vegas. You see stuff about boxing. You get Tyson stories. Let's start off with the Tyson story. What can you share me and Hob? Something we might not know,
A lot of people think Mike Tyson was invincible and this and that, but everybody has a style that they just can't counter. And there was a guy named Bounty Hunter that used to just annihilate him. And I've seen quite a few sparring partners beat him to the point where Mike would have a fit and scream and be like, "Hey, why you hit me? Why you hit me? I'm paying you $1,500 a week, and you're beating my ass. You better fucking stop." I mean, I'm dead serious. There was just certain people that just stylistically would just annihilate people. I've seen that happen to all the greats.
Well, there's one person I haven't seen that happen to, and that's Khabib. Because he doesn't have a guy like that hunting him down, does he, Hob?
No. He beats everybody down.
Would you say that's more prominent in boxing? Have you heard of this kind of stuff before, Hob?
No, I think it's everywhere. I think I've seen it everywhere. It's just I haven't seen it on Khabib, but I see it everywhere.
Well, we're talking about gym heroes that never show up in the ring for the title fight or maybe even make it to the pros. But there's guys out there that people have never heard of that might never will unless you're a coach or on the inside, right?
Yeah, there is guys out there that are phenomenal and in the gym, but they just could never put it together, in a competition. Don't ask me. I don't know why. I've never been able to put that thing together and make it work. So it's always been one failed attempt after another, trying to see how you can change these guys into, what you think they could be. But if it's not meant to be, it's not meant to be. And mostly gym heroes is what they're all about, and people know them in the gym, but they don't know them outside because they never could get out for the public to view.
How many have you seen, before I throw it back to Tony, how many have you seen, Hav, in your time over 35 years of teaching, coaching, and fighting in, pro kickboxing and coaching MMA and all that? How many do you think would you count on one hand, or somebody that could have been something that we should have seen on the highest levels of UFC or,
There's more than 10 in my lifetime. That's still a lot, more than 10. I don't think too much more than 10, but around a little bit more than 10.
How about you, Tony? You're always around the boxing scene, Mayweather gym, the UFC Performance Center. You're around all the fighting out there. How many gym heroes have you seen hit by?
Dozens. It's just sometimes at the spur of the moment, guys just have so much adrenaline and nobody can keep them off. I remember a cab driver would put on 20-ounce gloves and he could knock anybody out. So it just wasn't fun for him. So when he needed to validate himself, he'd come in the gym, knock anybody out. And then he was happy driving a cab, eating Cheetos. And, so that's what validated him. He really didn't care.
Must have been a bad day on the taxi line. Must have been a rough day driving that cab. You're like, I hope he has nice customers today. I don't want him coming back to the gym, right? Oh my gosh. How was the spectacle that you predicted for the Conor fight in Vegas? How was the, avenue of Vegas and all the hotels and everything, the activity?
There were some incredibly good-looking Irish women walking around that would make anybody smile and have a drink. That's all I can say.
That's a very tame version of Las Vegas.
Yeah, that's a very tame version of him. I care a lot more than that.
Well, you know what? People wanted more out of the fight, and there's a lot of conspiracy theories going on where people, it's like, you know, Cerrone's not a wrestler. Why would he do a double leg takedown? You know, a lot of people think he just rolled over and cashed out.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. Well, there you are. Only a temporary blackout in Las Vegas, but you're here. Well, me and Hav beat that subject to the death. I mean, I was writing in the questions. One of the viewers said, hey, you need to put a minute mark on every subject you talk about. And I didn't really know how many subjects we talked about until I went in and put in like 25 different subject matters. And, you know, at least they were different. I was kind of worried about it. But
talking.
Hmm?
Talk.
That's what I'm here for. I'm the Talkosaurus.
So you're in the ghetto, you're called a speaker box, because even when you pull the plug out the wall, you still hear static.
So, Tony, what kind of health tips can you give us? You train people, you do things like that, you know, in the martial arts.
The average American has 150 pounds of sugar a year. So if you can cut half of that, you'll be surprised on your recovery rate and injuries, because everything is just so filled with sugar, everything. So it's just, you know, you can say, oh, take this supplement, take that supplement, but sugar causes inflammation. So if you can find a way to cut sugar, that will solve a lot of your problems. And like in France, they eat their desserts first, and then they eat dinner, where here we eat dinner and then we eat the desserts. So basically, whoever's on top is the winner. So actually, if you eat your desserts first and then you eat real food on top, it actually, your body pushes out the garbage faster than if it's the other way around.
That makes sense. I mean, Javier got me to trim some pounds, got me off the sugar. You know, doesn't it raise acidity in your blood and stuff too?
Oh, it turns your blood to glue. So, you know, we weren't designed to have 150 pounds a year. So figure this, if you were in nature and you were walking around and you came across an apple tree, you might have 1 or 2 apples. So 1 glass of orange juice could be as many as 14 apples. So when you drink that, it just turns your blood to glue, and then the rest goes into your liver. So it's like having a washing machine running all day, and then as soon as your clothes are ready to be clean, you just add more dirt. So your body, that's why fasting is so effective, because it gives your body time to rest. It's not always going. The same thing as people eating every 2 hours. It's too much on a lot of people.
Yeah, that's the bodybuilder thing. But I was going to ask you, Hav, Conor versus Manny Pacquiao. What's your opinion on that fight? How do you think he does in that? And what's the reason for that? Is that just the money grab and playing A side to the dollar? I mean, what's your take?
Just money side, just making money. Pacquiao, whatever round he wants.
Yeah?
Yeah.
You think Pacquiao will just bring the heat on Conor fast, kind of like do
Don't know.
reverse?
I don't know what he'll want to do, but I know what he could do in any round he wants to.
Yeah?
Yeah.
He can make it look like the Cowboy fight, but reverse.
He could do what he wants.
He's a different fighter than Mayweather.
It's the same thing as, you know, a boxer coming into an MMA and going with a grappler that's not a striker, just a grappler. How long does the boxer really have a chance to survive? It's like as soon as the grappler wants to take him down, it's over. So, you know, if the grappler wants to take a risk and go the second or the third round, then so be it. But if he doesn't want to risk anything, he'll do like Randy Couture did, ankle pick, and then it's over. You know, they're just. I mean, it's common sense. You know, if you haven't done anything, it's hard to put yourself in a situation where you think you're going to overcome such a huge obstacle. You know, if the other fighter is formidable, there's no way you can do it.
We've seen that. We've seen the boxer come into the UFC and just end up on his back. But Randy Couture was fighting that heavyweight years ago. I can't think of the guy's name, but he was
James Toney.
Did either of you think he had a chance?
Yeah, James Toney was a great boxer too. He was a badass boxer, but He's not a grappler. And he trained in grappling, but it wasn't enough. You have to train a long time to deal with the Randy Couture in grappling. If you don't do it, that's what I'm saying. You got to train. To Conor's credit, he's a good boxer, but he's a lower level boxer, you know, whereas you got Manny, who's elite of the elite, you know, different circumstances. And Manny's fast, he hits hard, you know, and he'll have bad intentions, you know, they'll want to finish him. But obviously, if that fight ever does materialize, people are going to watch it like crazy.
Well, what did it ever prove, Conor versus Mayweather? It didn't make MMA worth less. It's just a different type of match. I mean, a ballet dancer takes on a break dancer, whatever.
Well, you know, also too, Mayweather, you know, in all honesty, he made Conor look good because of what he did. He played the shell game for what, 3 or 4 or 5 rounds or so he can get, you know, Conor somewhat tired, and then, you know, when it was time to put it on, he started putting on the heat, and then that's when Conor got tired. You know, no, Mayweather's just a master, you know, and he just used one of those cloak and dagger type of stuff, you know, something that Manny won't do.
Yeah. What kind of what was the betting like? Do you have any insight on the betting, Tony, about what goes on a fight night? Like, how busy is the sports book on a night like that?
And someone bet 600,000 on Cowboy, and other people bet millions on McGregor.
Yeah, but they probably didn't net very much, I would presume. Well, they netted something if it's $1 million. It's not $1.
Yeah, but going to the sportsbook window, and I call it money recycling. So you put up all this money to just get a little bit back. So a win is a win.
Yeah.
So, you know, people are just happy with the win.
Well, I mean, if you made 20 cents on $1, you're making $200,000. That's not a bad return. I don't see it that way. What are the most prominent gyms in Las Vegas for MMA and fighting?
MMA in Vegas to me is really bad because everybody has to go to 3 or 4 gyms. So that's why AKA is so incredible, because it's a one-stop shop. You get your wrestling, you get everything at one place. In Vegas, one guy is at this jiu-jitsu, then you have to go somewhere else for wrestling, then they go somewhere for boxing, then they spend the whole day driving around. So it destroys your recovery because, you know, you have to go so many different places. And there's so many gyms, and each gym, you know, the lower end gyms, the C-level gyms have 12 people in them. So you're not going to really get the best work. So it's tough for MMA fighters out here. I would say Randy Couture's definitely is high up on the food chain.
So it's easier for boxers probably, and harder for MMA. It's like a segmented training regime. Let's go to the weightlifting gym. Oh, I have to go to this other gym for a pool. I have to go to this gym for wrestling, and this gym for kickboxing. I could see that. I mean, I will say one thing. I talked with an Italian gentleman that came and trained at Javiers, and he said, this is the most professional gym I have ever seen. It feels like I'm showing up. People are doing this as a job. This is where they come to train better, like an Olympic training center kind of thing, where he had a consistent practice regime. He's like, it was never so better than this. In other places, he says they're, you know, I can't speak for everywhere, but that's only what this guy's seen. And he's been to some big name gyms. I'm not throwing him under the bus, but that's why I asked. I was curious about it. What is it that made your gym like that, Hob? Did you just keep optimizing it, or was that just your natural state to build it like that, the way you teach?
No, trial and error. You know, we kept working on improvements, and we still do. I mean, some people still think we're old school. Some people think whatever, but we're still improving all the time. And you know, proof is in what you continue to do. You know, and we're continuing to throw out top talent. We still have a lot of top talent on the way up. You know, and we'll continue to do that, and we'll keep learning too. On the same way, bringing up new talent, you're still learning. So, you know, what we were 2 years ago or a year ago is not necessarily the same as this year, because we keep having to evolve. It's a sport that keeps evolving and keeps getting better and safer. You know, and safer training, safer technique. You know, safer nutrition. You know, so many different things.
Well, I mean, I think the way people put it, like they feel like they're showing up to a major university. This isn't junior college or some online course. When they show up at AKA, it's like, this is practice. This is what we're going to do. This is night practice. This is what we expect. And you see so many other fighters that the leading by example, the other fighters tend to fall in line, and they all get a lot of value out of it. So I think that speaks highly to what you've done. What is the how can I put this? What is the best boxing gym in Las Vegas?
There is no best boxing gym, and I would have to say for training, I would have to say Mayweather's is the worst because it's almost like an Instagram boxing gym. Everybody's trying to film fancy pad work. Instead of sparring, they're trying to beat each other to a pulp. Like the other day, literally a riot broke out there, and 5-6 people were street fighting, punching each other. It's just so it's so ghetto, and it's just so much shit talk and so much hate. It's just like it really isn't a great place to train. It's a great place to network, but as far as train, it's too much drama over there. It's like being in Rikers Island. Somebody's fighting over a fucking Snickers bar or some stupid shit. You know, it just I would not recommend that for any serious fighter. Like Bones Adams, he has like a real gym where like people are focused. You're not going to be talking shit, you know. So there's so many boxing gyms too, and the sport of boxing is dead. There just isn't that many fights.
I've been to Bones Adams' gym. I haven't been anywhere else, but I've been to Bones' gyms. He's got a nice setup. His routine. It's very professional. I've been there. I haven't been anywhere else though.
Well, Javier, you were a pro kickboxer. How much of that was just, what percentage was real boxing, like just the standard without the kicks? Like how much of that work that you put in?
For me, 95% was boxing. The rest was, kicking, but we, mostly boxing.
Yeah, you strike me more as a boxer. I was like, yeah, he's kicking, but he is boxing the hell out of that guy. And the kicks are just like a distraction, and here comes some more boxing.
Yeah, it was mostly boxing. That's most of my fight training was in a boxing gym.
Well, Tony, tell us who's the greatest boxer of all time, and maybe drop that back to Hub. Like, who do you guys think were the greatest boxer or boxers of all time?
The greatest boxer of all time, unquestionably, is Muhammad Ali, because he is the only fighter to beat 3 Olympians. So Muhammad Ali won a gold medal in 1960, and then in 64, Joe Frazier won the gold medal. In 1968, George Foreman won the gold medal. And in 1976, Leon Spinks won the gold medal. So Muhammad Ali is the only heavyweight ever to beat 3 gold medal Olympians and get the gold medal himself.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. I like Ali, but as far as, accomplishments, you can't, Sugar Ray Robinson was untouchable as far as, accomplishments. But for me, it's what you do inside and outside the ring. That's why I vote for Ali myself.
What is it? This is a deep question, not a fan question, but what is it that how can it impact a life? How much success or how much help can it add if somebody learns a fighting art, a martial art, to face adversity and go through the tough times? How much more extra do you think that helps a person when they're dealing with just everyday life, things that get in their way?
Well, it helped me be successful for where I'm at, is that adversity I met as a fighter, that overcoming it. And I've been able to overcome every adversity that I've ever had because of that mentality I got as a fighter. So, for people that don't fight and train and then use that form of aggression and conquer, their fears, I think they can use it in life too. I really believe that.
I think it leads back. I mean, stress, like you could be having a tough day, say, well, this is not as hard as getting punched in the face 25 times like I did yesterday. It's really not that big of a deal. I think I'll move on. What do you think, Tony?
I think when people rob people, the criminals are very predatorial. So they're looking for soft targets. And when someone just has a basic confidence of hitting a heavy bag and they know they can defend themselves, their body posture, their presence, their aura is different, that they'll put a fight up. So everybody's looking for soft targets. So when someone just has the confidence to be able just to defend themselves with basic stuff, it just makes their life that much easier.
That's true. I mean, predators can sniff out the weak. They know it's going down. I have a question that for myself. When did you guys meet? How did you and Javier meet?
We met through Scott Coker about 20-something years ago when Scott was doing the K1 USA. That's when I met Tony during that time. I think I met him maybe a little before the K1 USA. So when was that?
2001.
2001? Yeah, 2001 or 2000, right? Somewhere
Yeah,
around there.
2000.
2001,
Yeah.
K1. When Scott Coker used to do the K1 over here in at the Bellagio and the Mirage. I believe it's the Mirage.
Yes.
Yeah.
Did he do the original? Was he the founder of K1? That was pretty popular back then. It was like the real.
No, that was Ishii from Japan. Ishii was the founder of K1, but Scott Coker was the first person. I believe the first person brought K1 USA here.
Oh wow! And were you fighting at the time, Tony?
Huh?
You were fighting at the time?
Yeah, Ishii was also the founder of putting diapers on Bob Sapp and throwing bananas at him too. So I just thought I'd throw that in. So
people may not know who Bob Sapp is. Maybe they do. That was one of the biggest
Quitters of all time.
Well, it's weird. He was winning in the beginning, and then all of a sudden Bob Sapp was like, take a dive. At least that's the way people were saying it. That's what it looks like.
So many dives that they actually want to hire him at SeaWorld and put like a dolphin outfit on him and have him like jumping in the water. Bob Sapp will do anything for a check, and it was very, very profitable for him. So if all you want is money, he found a way.
Yeah, he didn't really endure that much damage. It was like, oh, you're knocking down a 360-pound man who's solid muscle. You're, got 100 pounds less than him, little punch, and he's going down. I didn't get it, but he was winning. He was really throwing around some serious contenders back in there. Nogueira, he beat a serious K1 fighter. I can't remember the guy's name. I don't know if it was Ernesto Hoost.
Yeah, they're perfect. Man, Bob Sapp took a beating in that one, but he just wouldn't quit. And man,
that's because he was broke. So once his bank account started adding those zeros, he's like, I'm going to beat the system. He just didn't care.
Yeah. Well, Japan, he had a look that they wanted for commercials, and the guy probably made more money on TV selling yogurt and anything else you can imagine. I mean,
no, he made millions. He did over 50-some commercials there. He made multi-millions over there. He even had a rap album, his own pizza at Pizza Hut, everything. No, he cashed out. They originally wanted Mike Tyson. They wanted Mike Tyson so bad, but
Have either of you gone into the Japanese fight scene, like in Pride, or ever go over there for a fight to manage a fighter or fight yourselves or anything?
I went over there and worked the corner of Cliff Kauser, who allegedly is Mike Tyson's half-brother. And then I went over there and did a K1 Max fight. And they're like, we want to get ratings up. And I said, hey, I'll come out with a fro, a banana suit. I'll throw jumps, hook kicks, whatever. I'm telling you, it'll get your ratings up. And over 20 million people seen that.
So that was kind of in the Black Belt Jones look from the movies from the 70s.
Yeah. I mean, Japan, whatever. It's entertainment.
Well, I have a thing. I asked you about the boxers. Let's talk about CBD, because Javier has a great sponsor, and apparently it really works. And I've tried it before. It helps with pain. But since all the marijuana laws have changed in America, they're legal. CBD is not THC. It's part of the components from the plant, the healing stuff. And you use it a lot for arthritis, right, Jav?
No, not arthritis, inflammation. I don't have.
Oh, my bad. My bad. I said it wrong.
My elbows get really inflamed and they hurt like hell. So I use it all the time. No, it's a great product. I 100% endorse it. But you have to get it to be a strong type. It can't be. I think like 1,500 milligrams and above is good. Even 1,000. But anything below that, I don't really think it's that good. It's the more expensive stuff. It usually runs about $99 and up is for the creams and, you know, the roll-ons and all that. That's the best stuff, you know. It really does work.
Well, you use CBDMD. That's your sponsor, and they send you that stuff. Was that the first time you ever tried it?
No. Mm-mm.
No?
Oh, no. I was trying it before, and I was amazed. And then when I got the CBDMD, you know, that was better because it has higher potency.
Well,
everybody that tried it loves it. Everybody that's tried it, every single person, from my friend's mother who had arthritis in her hands, she had to wear gloves. I gave her the CBD. All of a sudden she's not wearing the gloves anymore. I have a friend of mine from Russia and Dagestan where his father had surgery on his leg and he was in pain all the time. I happen to have one, which is illegal. You can't have it. You can't have it, but I happen to have one. And
accidentally.
I don't want to get in trouble, so I gave it to him, and he said his father felt relief from pain right away. I have other friends that shoulders are pushed out and you know, and just really, really in bad shape. They use it, and all of a sudden they feel the immediate relief right away. We were just with a good friend of mine earlier, and he said it worked about 50% on his hands, you know, and Tony gave him ideas on how to maybe increase it, you know. But the fact that it worked 50% when he couldn't barely close his hands, and he was able to close his hands on the left hand, I believe, and the right hand he couldn't. Regardless, this thing is unbelievable, and people, you know, if you're going to use it, you need to get the higher potency.
Well, you like it too, Tony? You like the CBD?
My suggestion is I've tried a few brands, and for the price and for the effectiveness, even my doctor is using this brand now. And if you've seen my videos, I'm hitting my arms on solid steel planks. I'm punching my hand through just literally anything. So I used it, and it was highly effective. It wasn't cut. So there's a lot of brands out there that aren't what they say they are. They've been testing them, and they've come up short. I know this one absolutely works. I highly recommend it. If you use the AKA code, you get 20% off and free shipping on top of it, because I've seen some brands that are high rated, but the price is way more expensive. And I know this works from personal use.
Well, I mean, it's an honest thing. Javier's got a lot of people that would want to be his sponsors. And he's not going to go on here and, hey, new candy bar. Feels just like it's healthy for you, but it's not. I mean, he's only going to push a quality product, right, Jav? I mean.
No. You're going to do it, but you won't be sincere. I won't be saying really, you know, I'll be saying something to the effect of, hey, try it, you'll like it, but I won't say seriously, try it. I won't say that. That's hard for me to say, but hey, man, someone's going to sponsor me to do another whatever. I'm not going to say no. I'm not that dumb.
Hey, it could be Lipton iced tea for all we know.
Hey, look, I could be sponsored by Snickers, and I can hate Snickers, right? That doesn't mean I'm going to turn them down because I hate them. I'm like, no, hell yeah, Snickers. Oh yeah. Well, I'm into health food. Well, so what? Snickers is into pain.
Yeah. I guess we could just you'd see me get a little bit larger. I know that I'd be getting all the payouts on the Snickers. They'd be ending up at my house, or would they? I don't know. I've been sticky. You got me on the keto, Jav. I'm gonna catch back up. I'm here to
thanks Dan for taking me out of keto and it was back.
Your friend Omar, he feeds you like you really need, like you haven't eaten in a while.
No, it's his fault. Omar's fault. It's his damn fault. Coach, have some more. Coach. Oh.
Have you seen that stuff, Tony? Like the meals that, you know, Jav gets offered?
I have seen it. It's like the Last Supper meets Christmas Day meets Noah's Ark meets, it's unbelievable.
Oh, like, I'm over here with Jav, like he's like looking at me. I came in even, you know, I've lost about 35 pounds. I'm like, okay, Jav's doing this. I'll do this. You know, my wife jumps on a diet. I'm on a diet. We're all on a diet. All of a sudden, somebody kidnaps Jav and feeds him like, I don't know, 18 gallons of ice cream per hour. He's back.
But see, their food isn't all full of chemicals and bug spray and all that other stuff. You know, you're just eating real food.
Real food.
It's a big difference.
You still get fat though.
Nah. You turn it around. It's our competition. I know Jav could pass.
Bullshit. Bullshit.
I'm competing. He's not there.
I got fat. Straight
yeah.
up. I didn't want to get that, but I did. Oh well, it is what it is. I'll try to get back on keto again, I guess, but maybe not. I don't know.
Well, let me ask you this, Hob. I'm a little older. You know, what is a good workout for men around this age? I mean, what and Tony, yeah, what can guys do to stay younger longer? That's actually a good question.
I think personally, you know, cardio and lift weights, not moderate weights. You don't have to go heavy on the weights because as you get older, obviously it's harder. Your joints can't take the stress, you know, all that weight that you used to do as a younger kid. So I think cardio and lifting weights, and of course nutrition, obviously. But for doing things outside eating, cardio and weights, I think it's the best combination.
How much of both? Like, what's the weekly average? I mean, we're not being precise. We don't have the person in front of us, but around
maybe 2-3 times lifting weights and 3 to 4 cardio a week.
Just
I'm just talking, you know, I'm not no expert on that, but that would probably be moderate enough.
I saw that video where you were racking that 185 like it was a paperweight. I was like, look at that. And all my respect, I'm over here cheering for you, watching it on Instagram, and Khabib's going, "Oh, don't stop, coach. Too many weights." Did you see that video, Tony?
I haven't.
Huh? No, he didn't think I could do the weight. He goes, you know, do the weight. I go, what? Well, you want to go do that? He goes, no, yeah, you do it. And I said, okay. So I'm doing. He said I couldn't do 20-something reps, and I'm doing 20-something.
I think he did 30 something.
Oh, is it 30? Yeah. Habib said, oh. And so I kept going, and Habib, no, stop. He's all worried all the time that he's going to hurt me or something.
Yeah, it was. What do you recommend, Tony? I mean, you know, Javier and I, we're kind of on the heavyweight side. We kind of stay in our weight class. What about men in your weight class?
It's not about
ever get there.
You got to realize this. This planet is mostly water, and our body is 70% water. So your water intake is the most important part of anything. And most people go into dehydration, they load their body with sugar. So if you keep your water levels correct, that's the biggest part of it all, because that's what we're made of, is mostly water. So it's all about your water intake. You can be 3 low of water and still function normally. So a lot of people, they just don't drink water. So everything for me is about the water levels in your body. Your cells, everything need that oxygen. And it doesn't have to be alkaline or nothing like that, because that's, you know, most of that stuff is really not good for you. That's why they said if you give alkaline water to kids, it kills them. It will kill your pets. If you drink it, you know, your body has to pH it to the right pH. And bleach and ammonia is like at 11 or 12. So why would I drink water that's at 10? All that does is give you kidney stones. So just the most simple water. You got to think our ancestors drank out of lakes. You know, a lot of generations drank tap water and look at their health. So, yeah. You know, just reverse osmosis water is clean enough. Just take the birth control out of it and a little bit of the toxins. And, you know, you don't want your water too fancy.
Well, I got a couple of fan questions, so I wrap it up for you guys today. Let's see. Javier, will Khabib be fighting in Abu Dhabi again?
Hopefully. I love to visit my friends over there. I love Abu Dhabi, but hopefully we'll fight in during this time where it's nice over there, not when the desert, like summertime. Our summertime over there is, very, very hot. Do not like it.
Khabib was fighting Dustin Porier in an oven, basically.
Basically.
Yeah.
It was really, really hot, man. Even going outside was a wow. But if you go to Abu Dhabi or Dubai when it's like I was just there in December, wow, so beautiful. So beautiful. Weather is so great. Unbelievable. Different story.
Well, Dubai, I mixed the two up. Abu Dhabi and Dubai. Dubai is like it's a different area, obviously. And I think I mislabeled one of the videos once. Look, they're in Abu Dhabi and you're in Dubai. Somebody corrected me. I'm like, I'm sorry, didn't know my geography. Are they going to hold fights in Dubai? You think? Dubai?
Yeah. They're hosting fights in Abu Dhabi now, and they're looking to do them in Dubai, from what I hear. And I think Khabib might be somewhat providing them, excuse me, with fighters. I think I'm not sure about that part, but I do know that they are throwing events there.
This is not a fan question, but how many kids and men train with Khabib? How big is the Khabib army in Dagestan?
Hard to say because his army's everywhere. He's in the mountains, in the villages, and then the Mahakasla, which is the state capital where he has his gym. So I don't know, man. He's got so many different gyms he goes to, and there's an army everywhere he goes. So, and they're all warriors, man. Every one of those guys are warriors.
So hundreds and hundreds.
I say, yeah. I say between all the gyms, hundreds. His father's got building a big old giant gym in the mountains too. I mean, these guys they're mountain people all the way through and through, and they have the villages, the mountains, and then the capital state where they have their homes, you know, and gyms. So they got gyms everywhere.
Wow, that's like Disneyland for you. Look, fighters everywhere, gyms everywhere. Cool. And then the meals, the big meals. That's where they get you. How many times will Khabib fight in 2020? 2 or 3 times? What do you? It's a guess.
2. I'm thinking 2.
Yeah.
I'm thinking this one, then Ramadan comes, and then he'll fight one more. They could possibly get 3 out of him, but I'm thinking 2, guaranteed 2.
And then somebody's asking, what's next for Islam, Gaethje or Dustin? They're jumping right back to Khabib.
You know, we would like to get the guy that Habib's trying to get him on the Brooklyn show. Umar, his cousin's already on. I think Umar is trying to get Umar on there too. I'm not sure if Umar's on yet, but he's trying to get Umar on, and he's trying to get Islam on the same card with him. That's what he wants. Usually Dana, will probably give him that kind of request, I think. So I'm expecting 1 or 2 of those guys are going to be on that card with him. Umar and Islam will probably be in the same card. Who they fight, I don't know.
And then someone's asking, can Khabib dominate stand-up against Tony Ferguson? Or is that private security question?
Well, I want father's spine. So can he dominate? Yeah, but I don't care. I want father's spine. So,
yeah.
It doesn't matter if he can dominate. I know where he will dominate. So I don't want to prove that he can dominate in the stand-up. I know for sure where he will dominate. So I want to go the for sure route. That's just who I am. I go for the easier route. I don't go for the harder route. The harder route would be the unknown, which is the stand-up. So take it to the ground. There's elements that Tony poses big threats in, but we've been preparing for that for 4 fights now. So they haven't gotten any different. They're still the same, same threats as before.
Well, that's the thing. He's so unpredictable, but he's predictably unpredictable. We've seen all the moves. How much more can a human do? How many more ways can a body move, right? I mean, is that something to take into consideration there? We've seen.
Yeah, I mean, well, there's only so much you can do. I mean, just like Khabib, there'll be new wrinkles to Khabib too, but how much? But sometimes that little bit goes a long way. So I'm not sure what we'll see in this one. I'm sure we're practicing different things. I'm sure Khabib's gotten better as a striker. His MMA overall knowledge and application to the fight game is improved. So, and he's still hungry. So we'll see. I'm expecting a great performance from him, and being the case that it's a great performance, and I know it's because he's respecting Tony like way he should. Tony should be respected as the great fighter he is. Otherwise, we wouldn't be able to do what we're going to do to him.
Wow. So I don't know. I mean, I just took that from the question the other day, which I really liked, where the guy was going, hey, how come more people aren't talking about, like, why can't he box and stand up? It's like, he's a grappler and he wins, right? I mean, that's the thing. It's like the guy that said, well, how come more people aren't saying, let's see who can take Khabib on the ground?
Well, it's like, okay, look, listen, it's like what Cerrone did. I'm standing. Well, if you watch the fight, right off the bat when Conor lunged at him, if Cerrone's mindset would have been take it to the ground, he had a good opportunity to take him to the ground then, and he didn't even apply it because his mind was not thinking that. I don't want Khabib to be ever put in that situation where, thinking stand up. No, I want him thinking ground. So if there's ever an opportunity, he's going to go to where he wants to go. Now, if Khabib chooses to stand, which he has done to me on numerous occasions, he's going to do it. But I'm not going to train him to stand. I'm going to train him to take the guy down.
Yeah, that's very true. I mean, I see that fight, and people are like, oh, he can hit him with this, he can hit him with that, so many unforeseens, but that plays to a different fight. You're talking about stand-up guys trying to fight very abstract Tony with standard, straightforward stand-up fighting.
I'm not looking to, number one, my priority as his coach is get the W. Right. Number two, get it impressive. So I'm not there for the promoter. Okay, if I was there for the promoter, I'd make Khabib stand more because it would be for an exciting fight. But hell no, I'm there for him. So I want to utilize his great ability. I don't want to, put in that situation where this is the line, whoever moves backwards loses. No, whoever takes down who is the one that's going to lose. So there you go. I'm not machoism and let's give the fans a great fight. Well, to me, I think Khabib fighting on the ground and taking people down and mauling them, I think it's enjoyable. I like it, obviously, but I think a lot of people love it too. They love the way he does it because he doesn't lay in you. He doesn't lay and pray type thing. He's on top of you. He's doing damage.
That's very true. And it's like we go back to the origin of UFC. What was the whole goal? Which art beats which art, right? So there's mixed martial arts, but it's what you're heavy in. I mean, what do you think about that, Tony?
First of all, a lot of people pronounce Khabib's name Khabib. So if people could start pronouncing his name correctly, would be nice. Because I see in so many interviews and stuff like that, they keep calling Khabib Khabib. It's not a Mediterranean restaurant. The K is silent. So respect the man, respect the champ, and pronounce his name correctly. That's the first thing. The second thing is Tony Ferguson gives away freebies. He takes some hell of a shots. And Khabib is more accurate and stronger than people think. So he is going to land some stuff, I'm telling you. And I think people should do whatever they want. I mean, he has the blueprint to win. Why would he change the blueprint? Because 12 fans say they want to see a boxing match. It's not a boxing match. It's MMA.
Yeah.
When by means necessary that you do. So why would he want to be a stand-up fighter? For what?
That's a gambler. I mean, the gambler, like Hobbs, honest. He's like, dude, yeah, it's your father's plan. Number one, your father trained you, and then you've enhanced to stand up, and you guys work together as a team, and you're not like, hey, let's reinvent everything you're doing and take a chance. Why not? It's only the title fight, right?
Yeah. I mean, what kind of respect would I get from his father if I grab his son and I take him away from all the great training that he received from his father and I try to implement something new? That's stupid.
Does Bill Gates go to Del Taco and ask the manager for advice?
Well, my other thought is, Khabib can pretty much do whatever he does. He does a great job. I mean, there's a lot of people, they see every time you see a new challenge, it's like, oh, is Dustin Porier's boxing? This time he's going to show him. Or this time Conor with his deadly left hand. Or this time, Barbosa, the kicks are deadly. And people end up seeing whatever plays out, right? I mean, it's who comes there with the best mindset,
Mindset's very important. I think it's the key, mindset, and in all honesty, Conor came out of his last fight with an incredible mindset. And I'm betting to think that Tony Robbins had a lot to do with that.
You can probably get hypnotized into being the Manchurian candidate of martial arts.
100%. That guy's a genius in changing the mentality of how you think and how you do things. Yeah, I think it has a lot to do with the new Conor. The person that was in that ring with him, giving him a hug, that guy had a lot to do with it. Well, and of course, Conor accepting it. If Conor didn't accept it, it don't mean nothing.
Right? Well, that's the thing. First, it was the guy that was playing touch butt in the park, as they said it, the parkour kind of guy that he had. Now it's Tony Robbins. Who's next? Maybe we will see who's that martial artist with the ponytail? Steven Seagal. What do you think?
That just goes back to his question, Mr.
Yeah, I got to bring that up. I'm sorry.
Go ahead, Mr.
We want to
Tony.
talk about Tony. You'd love to have a match. You'd love to have a fight with Michael Jai White, the movie star fighter.
I never said I wanted to fight him, but he's been talking so much trash online. And he's just stirring up controversy, saying, you know, he's faster than Kimbo Slice. He could beat up Bruce Lee and all this other stuff. And the bottom line is people just want to see good movies. And his last few movies look like someone filmed it with an iPhone. And I know two world-class I know two world-class people that have held pads for him, and they said he absolutely does not have any power at all. So, I got 20 black belts, this and that. There is no film of him sparring. There's no film of him boxing. Why are you going to pick a dead Chinese guy that weighed 130 pounds? Like, everybody's looking for these soft targets to try to validate themselves. So why not go spar Deontay Wilder?
That's a great call. Go lightly spar.
None of his document. His documented is that he did a point tournament karate back in the 90s in Maryland, where there was 12 people, and they handed him a trophy. So, like, you know,
or fight Mike Perry. Didn't he challenge him?
Yeah, Mike Perry.
To fight him. You want to prove your point? I mean, do it legal. Michael do it legal. I mean, I'm just adding my 2 cents, and I don't know anything.
He said, "I'll spar this guy, I'll spar that guy." Then do it. We're in the age of cameras and social media. Spar somebody. Quit hitting foam and all this other stuff. But like I said, I know two very, very credible world-class people, and they're like, he kicks like he's 130 pounds at best.
Yeah. So it's all flash.
Huh?
It's all flash, all good looks, and
I think he's decent, but he has what I call chocolate bunny syndrome. So in Easter time, if you see the big chocolate bunnies in the box, it's all this big fancy presentation, but when you bite the chocolate, it's actually hollow and it's really full of wax. It's really not real chocolate. So I think he has what I call chocolate bunny syndrome, and as soon as someone takes a bite out of him, he's going to be done. Kimbo Slice would have beat him down, and Bruce Lee said personally, hey, if you come up to me and say I'm a super actor, I would be very happy. He didn't walk around. All this stuff that they said about this guy, when someone dies, they figure a way to make money out of them. Andy Warhol didn't even paint his own paintings. Van Gogh looks like a bunch of scribble. I mean, these marketing companies know how to market somebody. And when someone dies, they turn them into something so they can make a fortune.
Wow. What did you think about Kimbo coming in, Jav? I mean, these tangents take tangents. I was very curious because here's a street fighter and here's MMA. That was a new thing to me, but everybody started somewhere before Gym Wars or something else. Did you think Kimbo was going to do pretty good once he got into MMA?
No, he wasn't skilled enough. I thought he was very entertaining. I thought he'd draw big ratings, but I thought he would get exposed. I mean, he wasn't skilled enough, but he was definitely talented enough. He just wasn't skilled enough, And once you understand what I'm talking about, then you'll agree. He needed more training. He was definitely talented, super talented, and definitely a real fighter. Obviously, he was a real fighter, but I didn't think he was going to go too far, only because he just was older and he just didn't have the skill set. He had the talent, but not the skill set.
And everything really is A, B, C, and D. So where do you fit in? There's very few A-list fighters. There's very few B-list fighters. And then it goes C, D, and E. So Kimbo, at a professional level, was a D-list fighter. But in a street fight, he would be very effective. Hitting somebody bare knuckles, shooting up 5,000 IUs of testosterone, drinking a 40 ounce, and hitting you with his gold chain or whatever. Kimbo could be very effective.
Yeah, Kimbo, his videos were viral. They were hard to look away from. It was, violence on display in the street. It was just raw, I guess, unfiltered, But I saw him come about. I go, he's going to get smoked. And he did a little better than I thought. And he did better, and then he did worse, then he did better. It was always back and forth. He was making an effort. But like,
dude, he was very entertaining. You know, he was must-watch TV. You know, when he did The Ultimate Fighter, his season was one of the higher-rated seasons because Kimbo was in it. And he's very entertaining. I think the guy, I know personal friends that know him, and they love him, and they miss him very much. The guy's a great guy. I don't know him personally, but I know people that do know him, and they vouch for him and how much of a stand-up guy he was, and what a true gentleman he was, truly.
Now think about this. The most exciting heavyweight of all time is Mike Tyson. He wasn't even the best heavyweight, but he was the most exciting. Mike Tyson was the first reality show fighter. You didn't know if he was going to bite you, attack you. He was going to fight in the street. He was smashing cars. He was screaming. I mean, Mike Tyson was the first, like, a live reality show. And then his power, his accuracy, where he came from, it was just total entertainment. So Mike Tyson is the most exciting heavyweight fighter ever.
That's it. That's a great point. That's a great point because, you know, think about it. I mean, at the time, the internet was new. YouTube was generally new. Kimbo Slice comes on. He was one of the biggest videos anybody's ever seen back then. He had some of the highest views of anything. So technically, he was more famous than the sport at the time. And that's an interesting way to come in. Did you have that factored in when you saw him coming on the scene now?
I think nothing of it. I just thought he was a very entertaining guy, and he was very much must-watch TV, you know, and I definitely watched because I was interested in all the hype about him and, you know, that legendary fight between him with the Showtime thing, you know, that was going to happen, and then where Shamrock, I guess, cut himself mysteriously somehow, got cut, and the fight was canceled, and then they put in that other guy, and the upset happened, and you know, which kind of destroyed the Showtime thing because they built Kimbo to be better than what he actually was. And when he lost to, I think it was Seth,
yeah.
Yeah, when he lost to Seth, who was a decent fighter, no world-class beater, kind of shot the whole thing down, man. It just made it reality. It's like, man, you guys sold us on all this, that, and all of a sudden, look what happens. You know, but the bottom line is, you know, Kimbo was must-watch TV.
And here's another factor. They were selling a dream. Everybody on the street that watches basketball wish that they could play in the NBA. Or if you're watching the Super Bowl, like you wish you could be on the front line. Like people have those dreams that a guy from the street that never got a chance could actually beat the system, beat the odds. And because he has a desire, he could actually do it. So Kimbo is actually living the American dream, that a guy from the ghetto with no training and just the heart and desire could actually make it in the big leagues.
He made it there. I mean, I think he brought up ratings for the organizations. He was
Of course.
bad, you know.
He's a cartoon character. Look at his muscles and the beard and everything else. I mean, he's fun to watch.
Well, it makes me think of like interesting crossovers, like when Javier ends up coaching one of the greatest football stars ever, comes to his gym. And I know Javier never expected it. He probably, he didn't watch a lot of football. Oh, Herschel Walker. Oh, Herschel Walker's at my gym. How did that ever happen? Did Scott introduce him to you, Jav, or what happened there?
Well, Herschel contacted Scott Coker wanting to fight MMA. Scott Coker said, no problem, but you have to go to AKA, where Herschel met Crazy Bob Cook in L.A., and Crazy Bob obviously recommended Herschel come train with us, and Scott Coker pushed that issue. You have to be at AKA if you want me to. I could be wrong on that, but I think I'm not. I think that was what happened, and that's why he came to us. And when I met him, I was like, oh, my God, this guy is unbelievably gifted. And if he was, you know, a 20-year-old, he'd been one of the greatest of all time in MMA.
Yeah.
Just incredible athlete. Incredible. And what a human being, too. Always the first one there, always the last one out, just like he says in everything he does. He'd be outside waiting to get into the gym, but he was always there early, man.
Wow. And what was it? Now, have you had any other crossover athletes come to your gym like that? Or just him?
Not like him. Not like him. I've had other people come in, but not to take it to the level he did. No one, not even close. You know, and I don't know if too many people could have done what he did. You know, it's very special what he did, especially at his age.
How old was he? He was like mid-40s when you started training him?
45 or 46 when he did it. Maybe a little older. You know, but, yeah, he did 2 fights with me. And what a killer. What a killer.
Was it true he only eats one meal a day? I mean, you never followed him 24 hours a day, but I read that or saw that somewhere, like he eats one meal a day, and he'll go out to dinner with you and he'll have water.
I spent countless of days with him throughout the morning till night. So unless he ate at night, he was only eating once a day. We drink juice, though. He'd drink juice. He'd have juice here and there. He always said, I'm going to have some ice cream. And that day never came. He'd always talk about having that ice cream, but he'd never have ice cream. It was always soup, bread, chicken, very simple things of that nature, and he was always hydrated, though. He'd always drink a lot of water.
But remember this, I've been around Riddick Bowe when he got out of the Olympics. I've spent years around Roger Mayweather and tons of very, very successful people. And this is one thing they all have in common, is the power of belief. So if they believe it, they can make it happen. So even I've seen people do everything wrong in training and it turns out right because of their power of belief. So like with Herschel Walker, doing 1,000, 2,000 push-ups and eating one meal a day, he believes in that. So when the mind-body connection is there, it's unbelievable, the results, where I see some guys do everything perfect and nothing turns out right because they don't believe it.
That's the old Tony Robbins technique. Well, we're going to wrap it up. I want to thank all the fans for, sending helping the channel, getting involved. Right now you get a sweet time to get some extra podcasts from Coach Jav because you're about to get very busy, aren't you, Jav?
Yeah, I'm gambling.
You're back in Las Vegas. I kept that secret the whole time.
Got a couple minutes, and I got some money burning in my pocket.
Yeah, but I mean, big fight camp starting up with Khabib coming soon. People expect.
Yeah, sure. Sure.
Gambling first.
Yeah, gambling first. Got the priority first, buddy.
Well, the people have been sending a lot of great things for you, and subscribe to us and follow Javier at AKA JAV. And Tony, what's your Instagram?
Valente Style at TikTok. So it's entertainment. It's martial arts. It's a little bit of crazy bodybuilding, ghetto style. So it's very entertaining. Not as entertaining as the ABNs, which is next door, which I'm going to go over there and definitely scout out some of the unusual characters that are over there. But yeah, that's where I'm headed.
I'm gambling.
Well, listen, you guys have a great day, and we'll be in touch. Thanks for taking time to do the podcast today.
All right, buddy.
All right.